Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. That time you said the wrong thing, and your brain will never let you forget it. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. Do you have an exact moment that you were thinking of when you made that intro?
Only like every moment of my life.
I was going to say, I have so many, I couldn't even just say one. It happens all the time.
Oh, I know. There's so many times where I'm just laying in bed and there's just that one thing. I mean, there's things back when I was like 14 I said wrong. Yeah. And I'm still playing them back.
Damn, Trevin. Damn. So what is your dreadful dilemma this week?
So I have a dreadful dilemma, but I'm going to require help with it.
Okay.
Excuse me, babe.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to have Emily with me here to share this dreadful dilemma.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm scared.
You want to say hello?
Hi.
Hi to all the podcasters, everyone. This is Emily, the girl that makes the best cookies in KC.
So we wanted to have a dreadful dilemma in the form of a question, and Emily wanted to take on her fear of talking on the mic to do it.
Ooh, okay.
So I will hand the mic over.
Okay.
Well, Amanda,
Yeah.
we were wondering if you would officiate for us at our wedding.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, no, we're not kidding. Yes.
Yay. 1,000,000,000% yes. Are you
Yay.
serious? Oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't really want to have a traditional pastor, and we just thought you would be perfect.
I'm tearing up. I'm going to try not to cry. Oh my God. Yes. I am so... Oh my God, yes. I'm so honored, you guys. Oh my God. So I have to get on the website and get ordained and shit,
I guess.
right?
I haven't done research. If it costs anything, we can reimburse you. Because
My friend Sarah, she did it for us and she said it was a really quick thing. Oh my God. I knew whatever you're going to say, I was going to tear up because I'm just an emotional weirdo. But yes, oh my God, you guys. Yes. Oh, yes. Get over here. You'll have to tell me if there's anything you want me to or not to say, but yeah, if you're going non-traditional route, I am your girl.
That's what we thought.
And I love you both so much, and talking in front of people won't be a problem as long as I don't poop myself in the middle of your ceremony. Could you imagine?
I'd be okay with it if you chose to.
I probably will too, so it's all good.
Oh my God, I am so freaking excited. Yes, yes, a million times yes. Holy hell. Oh my God. Everyone listening, I just cannot wait for this wedding because it's going to be in October, right? Are we allowed to say this? Okay.
21st, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
October
God,
21st.
I didn't even know the date. Okay,
Yeah,
21st.
I saved the dates, so.
You did? This is going to be amazing. Oh my God. Well, tell me, how is this dreadful, Trevin?
Well, we just didn't have a non-traditional person until we locked you down.
It would have been dreadful if you had said no, I guess.
Oh, good God. I could never. I love you both so much. I have so much I could say. Oh, I can't wait.
We'll have plenty of time to say those things until October, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you guys so much for asking me.
Well, thank you for saying yes.
Yes, God.
So there you have it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, I'm gonna be an officiant.
Aficionado.
Aficionado up in here. Nothing dreadful about it. I will just make sure I don't eat anything weird beforehand.
Probably be fair and safe.
People are like, 1 star. She talks about shitting herself too much. Oh my God. What a way to start the episode. Sorry to everyone. I'm just so damn excited and honored about that. So I have a dreadful dilemma, and it is not as cool as yours by far.
Okay.
My dreadful dilemma, and I'm actually curious if you have this, but I'm trying to stay hip, trying to stay cool. Just me saying that does the exact opposite.
Yep.
But everyone's using ear pods without the cords, just the Bluetooth ear pods.
Right.
And I've been using them, but I've been running into a lot of dreadful issues with them.
Losing them?
Yes.
I could see that.
I lose them. I forget to charge them. But the main problem, and this is honestly probably just a me problem too, I have now dropped 2 of my ear pods down my bathroom drain.
But you're able to get them out?
I was able to fish them out.
Okay.
One of them was past the point of no return. Honestly, Trevin, I need to have a drain protector thing on the drain.
I've got one.
I don't know why I don't.
They're cheap.
I know, because our one, it broke years and years and years ago, and we just were like, meh, that's how our house is now. That's just how Jordan and I are. It's really bad. But yeah, so I've had to fish them out using wire hangers. And one of them I was able to salvage. The other one was just destroyed.
So it still worked, the first one?
Yeah, but what the hell?
So you're showering with ear pods in?
No, my sink, the bathroom sink.
Oh.
So the first time why it got broken is because I was washing my hands and it fell in and all the water and it was just going and going and it was just happening all so fast. But the second time, I don't know if I was flossing or if I was putting on makeup. It was something without water. So I was able to get it out and it was fine. So yeah, now that I'm saying all this out loud, I don't know if it's the earpods' fault or the sink, but I'm going to blame the earpods.
Okay. I've never had wireless ear pods.
Oh, okay.
Emily has a pair of one of my workout earbuds, and she keeps saying that she looks like the old person in the office because hers have wires. But it was on my possible Christmas gift list, but it ended up not being the thing I got her.
Yeah.
So she still doesn't have any. But I just recently, for my 5 years at work, they had like a list of gifts you could get, and I got a nice pair of wireless headphones, not ear pods.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that growing up in the 90s, I hate going through batteries. I'm like, I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to charge it. And then even with rechargeable things, I'm just like, yeah, but what if I want to listen to them and they're dead?
Yeah.
I stayed away from it for so long, but then I realized now that the phones don't have headphone jacks anymore, you have to use a jack that can split and do the charging and the headphones, or you can't charge because you're doing headphones.
And I will say, the Bluetooth earpods, they are very useful in certain situations. Like you can clean around the house. You don't have to have your phone attached to it. I can listen to it while my kids are sleeping, and I mean, you could do that with wires, I guess, too, but there's good things about them, but God dang it, you just can't do anything. And you're leaning over. My husband, he wears them at work, which I was like,
how?
Why? Because he works around construction. He's like, yeah, one fell in a paint bucket the other day. He's like, I guess I can't lean my head over the paint bucket. And I'm over here like, guess I can't lean my head over the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's too many things that are hazards to those. And they're not cheap.
No, you can get cheaper ones. I got us a couple cheap ones for our stockings just because I was like, oh God, we go through these things. But the nice ones, I mean, they can get up there.
I wouldn't be against getting a cheap brand to have on hand.
Yeah. Just be careful, okay?
I will be. I'll be as careful as I can.
So we are doing Would You Rather this week.
Would you rather?
We are. And it is my week to go first.
Okay.
And I'm really bad at coming up with would you rathers, but I found one that I thought could be kind of fun.
Okay. I was going to say, is this the exception or are you going to give me just a shitty would you rather?
It's a little more on the death spectrum, so it's good for me.
Oh, okay.
So my question is, would you rather be the person who flips the switch during executions
Oh my God.
or be the judge who decides who should be executed?
Oh my God. That's a good one, Trevin.
That's what I thought. I like that one.
Whew. Ooh, yeah, I really thought you were going to come in with some weak-ass questions with that intro, but this one is tough.
I think with me, I just overthink it and I'm like, oh, this isn't a good one. This isn't a good one. Then I usually settle on one that I like.
Damn. So I'm just going to think this one out loud. Obviously, as the judge, you are the determining factor. You are the reason that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't actually have to get your hands dirty.
Right.
And then the person who flips the switch, obviously, this is out of my hands. I don't want to do this. It's just my job. I just have to do this. But you are getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, in the actual spectrum of life, who's really the one doing it? But technically, flipping the switch, you're the one doing the killing.
I know. I think for me, I think I would have to be the judge. And honestly, I don't even know if this is true or not, but when there's a trial, the jury, they get to decide if they're guilty or not. And then the judge, they're the only ones that come up with the sentencing.
Yeah, for the most part, from my experience and what I've understood.
That's what I understood too. I'm sure there's probably exceptions to that.
I think the lawyers can kind of talk them down and like get them to change their mind a little bit.
I'm like, is there any wiggle room for me to be the judge to make this decision, but be like, it was all our decision, right?
It'll help me sleep later.
Right. But I know it's kind of the coward's way out. But I think it would be easier for me to know the situation, because as the judge, you get to hear what this person has done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not just going to put to death just any old person.
Right.
And honestly, I don't think I'd want to see it. I don't think I'd want to be a part of it. And if you are the one doing it, I feel like you would kind of have the opposite problem where you'd be like, I have no idea what this person did. What if I'm doing this to an innocent person?
I bet people who do that probably have a very big disconnect where like, I don't want to know any information or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it and get it over with.
Yeah. But for me, I'd have to be the judge. What about you?
You know, I think I didn't actually have it decided when I decided to do this with you, but no, I will agree. I think I would be with the judge.
Yeah.
Because I think that I am a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
Or at least I'd like to think that I am.
Yeah.
So
I'd say so.
I would come to a good, decision with that. But they say when guns were invented, it created a disconnect between people and murder because they don't actually have to really get their hands dirty. All they have to do is just kind of pull the trigger for a quick second, and they don't even have to see what they've done for the most part. They can just kind of let it go and then walk away. And so they say that kind of created a disconnect where people don't really understand just how much damage they're doing or what taking a life really is like.
Yeah.
When you're just kind of making a quick split decision and then that's it. When, if somebody wanted to murder somebody and they use like a knife or something, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot easier for people to feel like, oh, I can make the decision because they think of it in terms of just, oh, I'm going to completely take my head out of this and just pull a trigger and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So being the person who flips that switch and seeing what you're doing would be very difficult. For the judge, I'm sure on a lot of those situations, he can kind of take his mind out of it. You know what I mean? Just like, I decide this. But that's it. I'm
Exactly. Yeah. And then you hear about all the times that people are sentenced to death and then they're just on death row forever, too. I still think it would mess with you to have that much power.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I think the other one would mess with me way more.
Same here. I don't think I would do well with it.
God, that was a tough one.
Thank you.
So I have one for you as well.
Okay.
So usually when I do a would you rather, it's just, here's the question, bam, bam. But I'm going to be asking this and it kind of has a couple facts with it.
Okay.
Just because I don't know if we've talked about one of these things. So I just want you to have all the information when you make your decision.
Well, that's good. As a judge, I need all my information.
There you go. Judge Trevin.
Dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Bow.
You had to do the guitar. Come on. Okay, Trevin. So would you rather hike through the Diet Love Pass, which have you heard of that?
Is that the low sugar version? Diet Love?
No, not at all. So
Is that the word diet?
No, it's DYATLOV.
Oh.
It's a guy's last name.
You said path?
Pass.
Oh, so there's like the Love Pass and the Diet Love Pass if you're
God.
trying to watch your sugar intake.
You're
That
Oh
is
my God.
a bad joke.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, focus. Okay, so this is good that I'm going to be giving you some information here. Okay.
I need it.
So would you rather hike through the Dyatlov Pass, where 9 Soviet hikers died mysteriously? 4 of the hikers had severe chest or skull injuries. 2 were missing eyes, 1 had lost a tongue, and some were found naked. Or would you rather hike up Mount Everest, which has taken 310 lives of people trying to climb it?
I'd go with the Dyatlov.
Why? Do tell.
I've always thought this to myself, as much as I am afraid of death, which I don't feel confident in my survival rate on either of those.
Right, me neither.
I have always said that, if I died knowing a deeper truth that no one else really knew, that would make it feel a little more okay to me.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't really take that with me. I used to say as a kid, I would be so worried, like, oh, I wonder what Area 51 has going on. And I was like, you know what? If I could never see the outside world again and I had to live on Area 51, but I could know the secrets, as long as the secrets are good, I would go into eternal hiding for the rest of my life and never leave Area 51 again.
See, okay.
So if I saw that there was some sort of amazing beast up there and it ripped me limb from limb, I would say, at least I saw that such a thing existed.
So have you heard of this, though, this whole story?
Now that you say that, I do kind of remember that there was speculation that they think there could be like a beast, a Yeti or something.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, because their tent was found and it was cut from the inside of the tent, like they were trying to get out of it. And then all these other weird things that I just told you. Plus, some of them just died from hypothermia, but some had burns. Some didn't. Some were missing parts of, their eyes. The whole thing was so mysterious. I did want to say, side note, though, as I was researching this, I guess scientists have kind of come to a conclusion that they think it was from and let me make sure I'm saying the right word here, a slab avalanche, which I'm not even 100% sure what the slab part of it means, but it's a specific type of avalanche. But I'm like, okay, I can see some of this, but the eyes and the tongue and the burns and the naked and the...
Yeah.
And they were like, this is just the theory that makes the most sense, but it doesn't tie up every end. And I'm like, then I don't think it's a theory that makes sense.
Yeah, I
right?
don't care about your theory, buddy.
I know. So that was really weird. But I know we have talked about Mount Everest before. I think I did
the rainbow or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, because of the different colors of the hikers' jackets who have passed away on the climb. But I'm with you. I think I would rather, as creepy and mysterious and eerie as the whole Dyatlov Pass story is, your chances of it happening to you again probably are much slimmer than all the people who lose their lives on Mount Everest. So, I mean, from a mathematical standpoint, which I never think that way, I think the Dyatlov Pass would probably be better, even though that one honestly creeps me out way more.
It creeps me out too, but I'm sure that there are plenty of times where Dyatlov had been tricked through since then and before then that didn't happen.
Yeah,
But like I said, if I did die, at least I would die from maybe discovering something and not just being cold and, attempting something that I couldn't do.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know. Just thinking about climbing either of those exhausts me. Like I need to go take a water break.
Yeah.
Well, we are on the same page on both today. That is shocking.
Yeah, it's nice to be in agreement.
I know. Usually one of us is definitely for the other one, but that's fine. I love it. We're agreeable today.
I'm at the end of my little staycation, so I'm super agreeable with just about anything.
You're like, whatever you say, kid.
Yeah.
So, are we on to stories?
Yes, we'll get to some stories right after this commercial break. So this week, I am going first, and I want to talk about something that I kind of pick fights with a lot, but I feel like I can take it at a different angle this week. And I want to talk a little bit about the internet.
It's a heavy subject.
It really is, and I've already got some other things throughout the year while we bring up the internet again. But let's just jump into this story and see how the internet can be tied in with a petty crime.
Nice.
So here we go. When asked about the most powerful inventions of the 20th century, what comes to your mind? Your first instinct may be to say cars or the highway system. Perhaps airplanes? Or you could think more in a practical sense and go with water purification and distribution, or electricity. Sure, these are all very vital parts of our existence in the world. But let me ask you this. Have any of these inventions single-handedly controlled elections? Or been the sole cause of a culture's shared depression? Yes, if my AC goes out, or my car breaks down, I am very sad.
I hate this!
But not everyone will freely choose to commiserate with me.
Not my problem, bro.
If you haven't figured out exactly what I'm alluding to, I'm talking about the internet. The internet has a long resume of changes and standards that it has set for our society. It has changed the way we communicate, how we judge each other and ourselves,
Who would swipe right on this?
and has created so many jobs. It can be used for good, but let's be honest. How many powerful tools are used for good when being controlled by humans? With the World Wide Web, everything got easier, and it continues to try and simplify life. For any of my 90s kids out there, we grew up learning how to write a well-structured letter. Due to all of the changes on the horizon, we saw our teachers recycled the letter writing unit into an email writing unit. I will never forget this. Always start with a greeting ending with a comma. Hit tab to indent each paragraph. Blah, blah, blah. And we were tested and graded on this. I am a person who responds the best through words. If someone tells me I did bad, I take that to heart and use that to define myself. If I'm told I did good, then guess who just rented themselves a nice helping of positive self-worth? I say this because when it was time to prove my letter or email writing skills, I followed those rules to a T. I was the great communicator of Mrs. Wright's 3rd grade class, and I still carry a lot of that with me. Fast forward 22-ish years later, and I work a corporate job where a person who makes 3 times my income will send me an email that is literally 3 exclamation points and a question mark. No extra context. Nothing. It's up to me to figure out what that person wants and respond accordingly, hopefully in a way that won't make them resort to responding in angry face emojis.
I'm still mad!
Besides the obvious entitlement issues that surround that encounter, I blame the internet for this happening. Our patience and our effort has dropped significantly over the years. Think about it. Written letter correspondence could take a week to complete. You better make sure you have explained yourself properly. Can you really afford the time to send a shoddily written letter only to return to your mailbox 1 month later to a letter that just says, "What?" Now, even the time to put a good email together is too long, causing even the most high-level and respectable people to send emails the size of text messages.
You've got shitty mail.
Now we've condensed 2-hour-long movies into memes you can read in a mere second, and popular songs into 30-second TikTok snippets.
Black sheep, have you any wool?
We don't have time to ingest the artist's full piece of art. I can't even imagine what it must be like in an elementary school right now. I remember being taught math, and us students always had the same cliche argument of, when am I going to use this in real life? And the teachers would always say stuff like, you need to know this in case you don't have a calculator on you. Okay, we all know where that went. We literally always have calculators on us. I, even more so, do not use that math in my real life than I would have if I stepped into the adult world in 1998. Do teachers have similar arguments now, but about basic sentence structure? Teacher, when am I going to type out a complete sentence in real life? Or, the president doesn't even use a subject-verb-object complement structure. I'm pretty sure I can succeed without this. Do English classes just teach memes for proper communication now? I better get into the story before I sound too old. Today's tale will put us directly in the shoes of a youth raised by internet culture and will give us a glimpse into what petty crimes of the future may look like. Ethan was a 17-year-old boy living in Palo Alto, California. Already growing up deep in the throes of an internet-driven time in the world, it was even worse doing so in Silicon Valley. Technology was everywhere and in everything that Ethan and his friends associated with. The kids would awkwardly face each other in school, barely talking, only to go home and text all night. His best friend Chad had earned a verified checkmark on his TikTok account due to a short video he posted of two frogs having sex.
Get you some, Kermit!
And everyone knew Ethan as the cringe meme lord of Palo Alto High. It was a truly internet-based existence. But just as the internet giveth, the internet also taketh away. For all of the popularity and cool viral TikToks these up-and-coming youths would gather, there was also a lot of trouble to get into. Screenshotting the wrong Snapchats, doxing kids who laugh react at your opinions on Facebook, and simply sending unsolicited dick pics were grounds for getting online rumors spread about you. Unfortunately for Ethan, he was dealing with a completely different kind of internet trouble. There aren't a lot of jobs out there that a 17-year-old can do remotely, and although he did live in an upscale part of Palo Alto, his parents wanted to keep their money for themselves. This led to him being forced to have a job at a pizza place. To make things even more dreadful for Ethan, he had absolutely no work ethic. Of course, if the task was to edit a really great meme that boosted his social status, Ethan wouldn't mind spending 3 hours on Photoshop making photo magic. But making pizzas for hungry people? No way. He had continuously gotten written up for making memes about customers and letting pizzas burn while scrolling through TikTok. Eventually, enough was enough, leading Ethan to lose his first job.
You're fired!
Ethan didn't care. Sure, he wasn't making money anymore, but he could survive on internet popularity alone for a little while. The night of receiving his walking papers from the pizza place, Ethan returned home to find his mom standing in the kitchen. "Do you have something you want to share with me?" his mother said, with her back turned to Ethan. "Yeah, it was one of those cat videos that you like so much. I shared it earlier today," Ethan said. "I'm not talking about sharing on Facebook, Ethan," his mother sharply responded. "I'm talking about the news that you received at work." "Oh," Ethan said to himself. "I got fired." "I know," his mother wailed. "You forgot that I follow your work on all of the socials. Do you think about how this reflects on me? That I have a son who can't keep a job?" Ethan looked down at his feet, not thinking about how his actions may have affected his mother's social status. "I brought you into this virtual world, and now I'm going to take you out of it," his mother said with a serious look in her eyes. Immediately after making this decision, she got on her phone, changed the Wi-Fi password to the house, and paused all service on Ethan's phone line. Ethan could feel himself slowly disappearing, like a family photo in Back to the Future. Storming off to his room, Ethan began to feel what it was like to live life without an identity. He considered eating a snack, but what good was food if you couldn't share it on Instagram? What he really wanted to do was contact his friends and tell them about how awful his mom is. But how would he do that? Use the house phone?
Hello?
Ethan had become a man untethered from the world he grew to know. His mom had not taken the phone completely away, however. She had only rendered it powerless from the service towers around him. This was Silicon Valley, after all. Everyone should have Wi-Fi. Thus began Ethan's quest for a passwordless router. In the dead of night, Ethan walked the streets surrounding his home. Even if he had to hunker down in a bush while stealing someone's signal, At least he could see what videos were trending. But as the walk continued, Ethan found that everyone was very responsible with their internet. All password protected, and he wasn't gaining enough ground. Luckily, next to Ethan was a home with an unattended bike in the backyard. He quickly hopped the fence and threw the bike back over. Surely, with a bike, he could double the amount of Wi-Fis he checked. But as he went to leave the home's yard, he noticed the bedroom light was on and a young woman was home. Ethan stood outside of the window and motioned to get the woman's attention.
Hey, look out your window!
She eventually gasped in fright of the random boy outside of her window and opened it. "What do you want? Why are you in my yard?" the woman asked. "Hey, I ran out of data on my phone. Is there any way I can have your Wi-Fi password?" Ethan begged. "What? No, get the fuck out of here," the woman yelled, as Ethan hopped on the bike and left. Now, at a faster speed, Ethan was checking Wi-Fis at a more rapid rate. Still, no unprotected homes. He had considered taking his newly acquired bike and just returning home with it, until he saw a house that really caught his eye. There, at the end of Charleston Road, sat a quiet home with a window left open. It couldn't have been more perfect. Stealing the bike felt pretty good, and he did need to make some money. Maybe with some stolen goods, he could afford to just pay for his own data. Ethan sat the bike down near the window and crawled into the house. It was quiet. Obviously, the people at home were fast asleep. He tiptoed through each room, looking for valuable stuff. Unfortunately, though, there wasn't much of value to Ethan. This house obviously belonged to older people. A lot of what was lying around was antique, but how was Ethan supposed to know what was and wasn't worth anything? Sifting through drawers and looking atop decorative shelves, Ethan searched for anything of value. But just as he peeked around into the kitchen, his eyes were drawn to a very familiar, blinking green light. His blood ran cold as he fought to swallow down the massive lump in his throat. On top of the kitchen counter, right next to the corded home phone, sat a wireless router. "My God," Ethan said to himself as he began to look around for a sticky note containing the password. The internet was right there in front of him, and he couldn't access it. There had never been a more helpless moment in all of his life. If he could just log onto the internet, he could look up the value of these items and take a selfie of himself stealing to show his friends. But that dream was quickly dashed, as this household seemed to have actually memorized their own Wi-Fi password. At this point, Ethan had dropped the whole petty theft purpose of his visit. The thing he wanted all along was right in front of him, and he couldn't have it. But how do you get a password to a Wi-Fi that isn't written down? He pondered on this question until the answer became very clear. With his new plan figured out, Ethan slowly walked down the creaky wood flooring of the old home. Following the sounds of elderly snores, he found himself standing right outside of the master bedroom. There, in the bed, lied an older couple, fast asleep. They look like two sweet grandparents, Ethan thought to himself. Surely they won't mind that I'm here. Ethan pulled the old door open slowly and entered the room, quietly clearing his throat. "Excuse me," Ethan muttered in a soft-spoken tone. "Can I have your Wi-Fi password?" At this point, the soft snores and sounds of slumber stopped, as Ethan and the elderly couple sat in a long, uncomfortable silence. Just as Ethan thought to make a move, the elderly man popped up from the bed and started screaming. "Get the fuck out of my house! Get the fuck out of my house!" the man screamed while running towards Ethan. Ethan could not react fast enough. The old man was too quick. He began pushing Ethan and throwing him into walls, hurting him down the hallway. Stumbling and running into everything in sight, the old man had managed to push Ethan through the entire house and out the front door. While the long process played out, the man's wife had called the police. In July of 2018, a 17-year-old in Palo Alto, California, went on a petty crime spree in search for a Wi-Fi signal. Around 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning, the male broke into the home of a couple in their 60s and woke them up, asking for their Wi-Fi password. The man pushed the boy out of the house as the police were alerted and able to find him. It wasn't until the following afternoon that more reports had come out stating that a boy in his late teens had flagged a woman down in her own home, requesting her Wi-Fi password before stealing a bike out of her yard. At the time of his arrest, the boy had lied about his identity to the cops, leading him to gain charges of residential burglary, prowling, and providing false information to an officer. The police also later recommended petty theft be added to his charges after the bicycle was found near the break-in that got him caught. The minor was later taken to Santa Clara Juvenile Hall, where no more information was given about his charges or his identity. What a story, right? Just like love, the need for the internet will make you do crazy things. We as a society have truly turned it into a basic human need. It's absolutely an unhealthy relationship, but we all couldn't go very long without the internet. It is good for us to be able to unplug for a bit, but let's be honest, it's a much easier thing to do when you're doing it on your own volition. So let this be a cautionary tale for any of you listeners who may face being grounded or have your internet shut off due to missing a bill. There are many things you can do to take your mind off of that addiction to the internet. But if you truly need to log in for that social validation, may I suggest joining a library or going to a coffee shop?
I was about to say, if he was that desperate, couldn't he have just gone to a Starbucks or any different restaurant? Or maybe not every restaurant, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I thought too, because he's in Palo Alto, which is Silicon Valley. I'm sure, and this is just me being a middle America guy who has no idea what the big world is like. But I just assume that every business there probably has open Wi-Fi.
I mean, isn't Google there itself?
Yes.
Just ride the bike to Google's headquarters or something.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure Facebook's there. Everybody's there. So I would think that something as simple as their Walmart probably has free Wi-Fi.
Yes. Any hotel parking lot. Come on. Okay, if someone broke into my home, I don't care what your reason is. I don't care if it's what's your Wi-Fi password. I don't care if it's, hey, you have really cute dogs I wanted to pet, or hey, can I go pee? I'm really desperate and hate peeing outside. I don't care what your opening line is. I'm going to attack you with a golf club.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that this, because like a lot of times I will kind of exaggerate story or try to like tie motives more to make it seem more ironic.
Yeah.
I don't know that he lost his job and his parents turned the Wi-Fi off, but I do know that he did literally go to one house asking for Wi-Fi and stealing a bike, and then breaking into a house and asking for Wi-Fi. And that's just insane to me. Who in their right mind would break into a house and be like, okay, maybe I'll just ask the owners. I'll just wake them up real quick. Just ask them.
Yeah. Like, what? The thought process or lack thereof is very astonishing in this one. It didn't work the first time, and this person was awake. Okay? So, like, you're going to try it now while they're asleep? This is never a good idea.
No, like, I'm sorry I'm here, but...
Oh, my God.
How did you think this was going to play out?
Yeah, did he think they would wake up? Okay. They're like, oh, hey, what can I do you for? And then he's like, oh, just Wi-Fi password's all I need. Oh, no problem. Here it is.
Of course, my good fellow.
And then what? Would he just sit in their dining room and scroll TikTok for a while?
I guess. I guess that just kind of shows you the mindset of a 17-year-old kid.
Oh, my God. We got to raise these kids better.
Yeah, for real.
Whew, that is a wild one. But yeah, I mean, that was not a good decision. It was bad decision after bad decision.
Yeah, and they said that they had saw, it wasn't until later the next day that the person had called in and been like, oh, wait a minute, that kid in my window stole my bike. And they looked on their like Ring cameras and the kid had taken the bike out of the backyard, threw it over into the front yard, and then came back to the window and was like, oh, hey, can I have your Wi-Fi password? And they're like, no. And he's like, fine, I'll just go get on my bike. Because to them in the moment, they thought the kid was already on a bike. But he had just gotten done stealing their bike and then came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll give you your bike back if you give me.
I'll offer you a trade. That would have probably worked better.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
And so because he's a minor, I'm sure his identity is protected, which that's fine. It should be, I guess.
Yeah, he went to a juvenile place, and so they just said 17-year-old boy.
Damn. That is honestly just embarrassing. I don't know. I feel like along with whatever punishment he ends up getting, maybe he should go to like some sort of, I wonder if they have them. They've got to, right? Like online addiction class.
Oh, I would think, which is funny because yes, you could say somebody probably has that, but we all have it. You know what I mean? Like you could easily take the internet away from somebody and be like, look, he's freaking out and he's getting anxious about it. That shows he has a sign of this problem. And it's like, if you had your phone taken away, you would be the same way.
We all need to go to the class.
We all need some help
with
that.
Up.
But I'm sure something like Palo Alto, you would think more than ever they probably have something related to that in some way.
Yeah. Would we all get a little jittery without our phones? Yes. But would all of us bust into a home to get it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we go that far.
That's a little extreme.
But I would say that I think that a lot of us would function incorrectly for a while.
Yeah. There have been times in the past where my phone has broken and for some way, shape, or form, I didn't get a new one for a few days. And I would say the first day or more would be like, oh my God, where's my third arm? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But then after a certain amount of time passes, it's honest to God, very free.
Yeah. When I lived with my friends a while back, sometimes I would go pick up carry out and come home. And sometimes I would leave my phone at home just to go take that like 10-minute drive out to get food and come back. And I was just like, oh my God, the world smells different. Like it feels different. There are people around me.
That is so damn weird, but it's so true. I think all of us would feel that way, but I don't know. I think maybe all of us need to do a better job of setting time aside, like real time aside, where the phone is put away, physically away from us for a little while.
Yeah.
Maybe put that in your New Year's resolution, why don't you?
Yeah.
Even though it's already New Year's when this comes out.
Yeah, it's a little past, but it's never too late to start.
Still counts.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, great job.
Thank you.
As always. What a damn story.
Yeah, it just sounds fake.
It does sound fake. Like we said, we sometimes exaggerate, obviously, what we say. But when you did your little recap at the end, I was like, oh my God, the bike part wasn't just an extra funny thing. Like he really took those steps. Wow.
Yeah, the only thing I made up was how he got there.
That's so crazy. Well, I also have a story for you.
I'm ready for it.
So this week, I have a listener story.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we were kind of talking about it. I don't remember the last time we had a listener story, but this is a great reminder to everyone listening that if you have a story, send it to us, because recently we've been getting quite a few more.
Right.
And we might not get to every single one we receive now, but you know, if you think you have something that sounds ridiculous like any of our other stories, or something even just really small that you're like, this might be good, just feel free to send it to us. We love hearing from you guys. And this story was no exception. I had a really great time going back and forth with this listener through emails. And I really do have to give her a shout out. Her name is Sky, and she reached out to us because she heard about our show from Beach to Sandy.
Yeah.
And she was telling us that she has since then binging us for days. So thank you, Sky. We appreciate the binging. But also, I have to give her mad props because she did a really good job explaining the story. So much so that really the only follow-up that I even had to ask was, just tell me more about yourself a little bit. Because everything else, I had everything. I had all the important information, and it was just a really nice time getting to know her, to be honest. So I'm really excited to share this with you all, and here we go. Life is filled with plenty of big moments and important milestones. For instance, graduations, having a baby, or selling your house to afford Taylor Swift tickets.
Make me an offer. I have to hear Bad Blood live.
But sometimes, it's the little things in life that can truly bring the most joy. I mean, there is a whole song about raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, for goodness sake. It's these little details or small items that can really make the biggest impact on someone's happiness. This is no exception when it comes to committing a petty crime. The story I'll be sharing today is about a careless act. One that ultimately caused one woman's little and simple joy to be altered forever. On September 2nd, 2016, a young woman named Sky sat in her Tallahassee, Florida home. Sky was super bright and had moved to begin the long and grueling process of attending law school. To acquaintances, she appeared to be shy and quiet, but once she warmed up to those she trusted, she had a hard time not talking.
And then I went to the mall and I got a smoothie. Do you like
She moved into her 1930s bungalow weeks earlier, and it was the cutest little house. Things were perfect, besides the fact that her surrounding neighbors were all frat boys that threw raging parties every Thursday night.
Thirsty Thursday, bro.
Sky had finally unpacked all her belongings and placed them exactly how she wanted. She knew that the next few years of her life would be tough with school, so she filled her new home with some of her favorite things. She had a crafting nook, houseplants, full bookshelves, and a lab cattle mixed puppy named Cooper. To top it all off, Sky stocked the fridge and freezer with all her favorite snacks, including Baskin-Robbins Rainbow Sherbet. This wasn't any ordinary sherbet. This decadent frozen dessert was so much more than that. It was the perfect ice-cold blend of pineapple, raspberry, and orange flavors. With each rolled scoop of sherbet, the fresh aroma of sweet fruit was all-consuming. After each bite, shockwaves of serotonin shot up into Sky's brain, easily making this her favorite treat. She couldn't wait to open up the brand new container and dig in, but Mother Nature had other plans. Tropical Storm Hermine had recently made landfall on Florida's panhandle, and like a stubborn Florida man, Sky decided to ride it out alone in her new house. However, it became apparent that her power wouldn't be on anytime soon. So like an impatient Florida man, she fled to her parents' house an hour east for safety, companionship, and that sweet, sweet central air. A couple days later, Sky, her dad, and her pup Cooper drove back to Tallahassee, having casual father-daughter conversation along the way.
And that was the last time I mixed Viagra with Red Bull.
The plan was to clean up Sky's yard after the storm had died down. But all conversation between the two came to an abrupt halt once they noticed Sky's front door completely ajar. Sky quickly called 911 and had a panic attack in the front yard, while her dad sprung into protective mode. After a brief check of the inside of the house, her father noticed an open window as well. It seemed as though the perps made entry by forcing open one of the windows, taking full advantage of the fact that the backup battery on Sky's new alarm system had wilted in the absence of electricity. The house was a mess, But the intruder's robbing technique was even messier. They opened drawers and doors seemingly at random, turned over a mattress, and pulled books off of their shelves. Skye rushed to a pile of thrown books as she frantically rummaged through them. She exhaled in relief as she located her first edition Twilight books. They weren't autographed, but if you ask most girls and formerly closeted gay boys in America born between 1989 and 1996, they were priceless items. Skye looked through her rooms in defeat. After all, she had just unpacked right before she left and couldn't help thinking how rude these intruders were. They had taken her 10-year-old hand-me-down TV, a pair of Ray-Bans that had been exiled to only being used for sporting or outdoor activities like hammock naps or lake days, and her old applesauce jar that held roughly 2 years' worth of change, equaling maybe $70 at most. At least the dummies had left behind jewelry and handbags that probably would have made a killing in resale. The small victory made Skye half-heartedly chuckle to herself until she snapped out of it. The kitchen. She still hadn't checked her kitchen. Skye braced herself as she slowly made her way through her home. With all the destruction done, she thought surely the intruders worked up an appetite. She gulped as she pictured her favorite Baskin-Robbins rainbow sherbet container empty. With each step towards the kitchen, Skye began to smell the sweet, lingering scent of fruity goodness. Pineapple, raspberry, and orange all started wafting through the tense air towards Skye. As she approached the kitchen entryway, she heard loud slurping noises, only making her anxiety worse. Then she saw it. Sitting on top of her countertop was the brand new, unopened carton of Baskin-Robbins Rainbow Sherbet. The once pristine carton of frozen delight was left abandoned on the countertop after the intruders searched Skye's freezer. Due to the sherbet being left at room temperature, a sticky rainbow mess was all over the counters, cabinet faces, and floor. The slurping continued as Skye's puppy Cooper had the time of his life helping clean up the mess. Skye remained in that house for 6 years before moving to a new place in Tallahassee. She also graduated from law school in 2019 and now has 2 dogs and 3 cats with her girlfriend. All in all, life is good. But even now, Skye still thinks of that melted rainbow sherbet and hasn't been able to purchase a carton ever since. So when you hear the term petty crime, don't let it fool you. It may sound small or insignificant at first, but it can leave victims with devastating effects, especially when it takes away the sweetness from their favorite treat.
Has she really not gotten sherbet since?
She really hasn't.
Oh, man, that's the saddest thing.
Literally every single part of that whole entire story I tried to make as true as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I threw in tiny little additional dramatics to it, but every fact was from Skye herself.
Wow.
So thank you, Skye. And also, she is really funny because some of those jokes in there were totally from her writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of rephrased a few things here or there. And I obviously wanted to play up the Sherbert part of it all, which, oh my God, before we go any further into talking about this crime, we have to discuss this.
Okay.
I pronounce this frozen treat as Sherbert.
Same here.
Okay.
There was like a Sesame Street joke one time where Bert and Ernie were together and he was like, "Hey, Ernie, you want some ice cream?" He goes, "Sure, Bert." And then, of course, Ernie does a Laffy does. But yeah, I always think about that all the time. But maybe it's a Midwestern thing because you and I are on the same page.
Okay.
Even
yeah.
though it's not spelled that way.
Yeah. And also, when I was writing the story, I noticed that Sky spelled it without the second R in there. And then I was like mind blown. And then I went on a deep dive and I was looking up a bunch of stuff on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Sherbet? Is it Sherbet? Is it Sherbert? My mind was blown. I was so confused. So it turns out, Trevin, that we're all kind of right. Because the international, well-known way of saying it, and I even looked up the pronunciation, is without the extra R on the end. And it's apparently pronounced Sherbet.
Sherbet.
Sherbet. Which I was like, what the hell? There's no way I'm changing the way I say this to that.
Mm-hmm.
But saying it Sherbert became so common in other areas that it is now technically a correct pronunciation as well. And spelling.
Leave it to Americans.
I know. God. We are so whack.
We're wrong until enough of us are wrong, and then we're like, I guess we can just be right.
I know. That's exactly.
I'm not going to change for what's right.
They're like, nah, we're just going to make the dictionary include this.
Yeah.
So write in and please tell us. I would love to hear from some of our listeners. Send us a DM. How do you say Sherbert? Sherbet? 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 Sherbert?
Sherbert.
I gotta know because...
We'll have to put a poll with the two main ones and then maybe like a third for other.
Yeah, like how in the hell do you say this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Baskin Robbins Rainbow Sherbet is not spelled with the additional R.
Right.
So for that, I am sorry because I'm probably saying it incorrectly the whole entire time.
Has it ever been spelled with the additional R?
There are some different brands.
Okay.
Not Baskin Robbins, different brands that do have the additional R at the end, Trevin.
I've never seen it in writing. I think every time I see it in writing, I always see Sherbet, and I'm just like, I'm still going to put an R in there.
I know. So this might be a total confrontational topic. I am very interested to see. Please don't give us a 1-star review for the way I say it.
Yeah, we're Midwesterners. Come on.
We're simple folk. But anywho, back to the story itself. Damn, can you even imagine, though? When she wrote it out, that wasn't as dramatic of a buildup, but it was the final straw. She's like, and then I came home, and these motherfuckers left it out on the counter. And it was unopened. They didn't even eat it. They just left it there to melt everywhere.
I've heard of people who hide money in their freezer, so maybe that's what they were doing.
Probably. But put the sherbet back.
Yeah, they need the comfort food after realizing they got robbed.
Exactly. How heartless are you?
For me, ice cream's very important, so that's
Yes.
plumb heartless.
And the fact that she had just moved in. You know the feeling of unpacking your boxes and finally feeling like, this is my space. I can sort of breathe a little easier, feel a little safer. And then to have your house broken into, how shitty is that?
From my experience, you don't really get comfortable after that.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody was in your space. When I went to Arizona and got jumped, that was the first week. I think I was there 7 days and then I got jumped. And then I just never felt the same with my surrounding city area. Even though it was a nice looking area, I thought.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't want to walk around here. But now that you feel like your own space can be entered easily, it's already kind of hard because it's like a stranger, I just bought or rented these 4 walls. This has to be called home from now on until I move again. It would just be really hard for me to want to call it home.
I know. And props again to Sky because she said she lived there for 6 years.
She let the sherbet go after that.
You know what? She kept the house and bye to the sherbet. She did say in her email, though, she was like, I've never been able to bring myself to buy another carton, but the orange flavored push pops are still 10 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
And so she's allowed herself to get the push pops, which I can respect.
Yeah. Oh, you have kids. I haven't had a push pop in forever, but I'm sure you are a different story.
I honestly haven't.
Oh.
But I want to now because those used to be my jam. Good God, those orange push pops.
They were great. The Flintstones ones.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was raised with.
Yeah, there's so many good treats I need to immediately go and buy after this recording, but...
That doesn't sound like a good New Year's thing.
I know. But I loved her story. I could just picture her dog, trying to help clean up the mess.
Mm-hmm. I kept thinking it was the frat boys.
Oh, dude.
Just partying it up. And they're like, you know what? We ran out of booze. Let's go break and see what she's got.
Wouldn't that be some shit? I could see that. She did say that the intruders were never discovered or caught. It sounded to me like they were taking full advantage of the storm and the power outage and everything like that.
Yeah.
Which is just so shitty, You have those people that are like, ooh, natural disaster, time to strike. And it's like, fuck you. And you ate my sherbet.
You ruined my sherbet.
My sherbet. You ate my sherbet. The rainbow sherbet. We better get out of here. This is getting wild.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sending the story, though. And it's good
yeah.
to have gotten back into having a listener story again. And as I think on that episode with Kim, when I did the closing on my own, I said, you don't have to be a good writer. You don't have to write the whole thing out for us. You can just give us the gist. And like Amanda said, we will check in and ask questions and try to form our cinematic view of this little mini movie story. So don't feel that you have to be funny or have to know, the full scope of the story.
No.
You lived it, and that's all we need.
Shoot, Sky was, though. I'll tell you that. Like I said, she gave me all the dates. She gave me all the times. She gave me all the things. I mean, I really just wanted to get a better view of her. And also really cool that she made it through law school. Like, holy hell.
Yeah, she's probably listening to stuff that we said and been like, no, that's not how that works.
I was thinking. She's probably like, no, you guys don't have a good grasp on the law at all. But, even just doing this show a little bit, I have learned a couple different of charges that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, like vehicle prowling and...
Right, the really weird ones. But yes, so thank you to Sky. And for any new listeners or old listeners who have listened to us forever now, a few years now, almost... Send us your stories. We love to hear them.
Yeah, we love to have that variety. And I need to get on some listener ones since I don't have as much of a petty past as Amanda, apparently. So I can't do the news for 52 more weeks. I'll probably have to do some different stuff.
I know. I'm a bad girl. What can I say?
Bad girl.
So just remember, everyone, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Sherbert.
Bye.
See ya.
Hey, look at me. I went from podcaster to ordained minister. But thank you for listening to our show this week.
And if you have your Wi-Fi shut off or your phone turned off, why don't you go break into an old person's home and ask them for their Wi-Fi password so you can follow us on social media. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And please, for the love of God, tell us how you say Sherbert. And if you have a petty crime story, send it to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And jump on Apple Podcast or Spotify to give us 5 stars. Give us a better rating than you'd give those AirPods that go right down your sink drain. Right after this commercial break.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I went and did it.
Oops, you did it again to the ads.
Got lost. I don't remember the words. Needing some more funding.
We're poor. Please help us feed our families.
Freddie gets so hungry.
There you go. Oh my God, wow. We really are losing it, Jesus.
Yeah.